Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, CDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Y'all see the thumbnail. Wow. The microphone of it all. Anyway, y'all see the thumbnail, WBC closing. They're closing in on Tyson Fury. But you never guess what they want to do. You know, what you call it? The parting gifts. But before we get into that, we got a lot of little news. But before we get into that, as usual, let's go ahead on and turn to. What's up? It's Thursday. Y'all know we gotta rock out. Here we go. Oh, and it makes an outlier on me. Hold on 1 second. You know we gotta loosen up on Thursday. On any day. Y'all go ahead and loosen up. I'm giving folks time to come on in. Hey, y'all know what? Secretly, I've been behind the scenes getting set up in my little studio so I can one day call a fight. I know me and Destiny had that back and forth. Well, I said, I ain't set up yet. I got the equipment. I just got to figure out how to set it up. Thanks for the cash apps. All y'all cash apps go right back into the studio. So I want to say thank y'all for doing that. And shouts out to y'all for doing that. I don't go and spend that money on nothing, not on me. Well, for the studio, I guess. But I don't go buy shoes. lipstick or anything like that. I put it right back in the studio because I like things to look and feel professional. So thank you guys for all the cash apps. Mm. Remember, I don't own the rights to this song. Let me actually put my banner up. I see y'all coming in. Come on in. Hit that like button on the way in. No, we can't go for that, y'all. I see what you said, Tate and WJ. We can't go for that. We can't go for that. Remember, I come on Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all lean on that leezy when you step into the heezy. Hit the like button when you come into my square circle. Hook a sister up. What? That's Bud talking to us fans. He gonna do anything. We ain't going for no fugazi shit. Not in the 2-2. No can do. Hey. Well, welcome on. Come on in. Come one, come all. Like I said, I come on Monday through Friday from 7:30 p.m. every day. I don't know what the thumbnails tell you. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. Hit the like button when you come into the square circle. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And when you watch me on replay, go on and leave a comment under the video in YouTube. Let me know what you think. I'm still gonna be T. T still got to be her. But I have an open mind. And I do, if your argument is good enough or what you're saying is good enough, you might persuade me to change. But yes, according to the thumbnail. See, I was reading, I do a lot of updates and checking on things and everything. And of course, I'm checking on this Tyson Fury thing because it matters. It matters. I don't know what Deontay Wilder is going to do. I don't presume to know. I don't have no inside track. I guess I'll know when you guys know. But because, Tyson Fury, they all in that same realm. I'm not going to say it depends on what Tyson does, but, all of that shit is in the same realm. As far as I know, as of October last year, Deontay Wilder broke his hand, and I think he had to April, to get it together, before he could come back. Like if you in the ring and you get a cut, or you get concussed, or you break something, you automatically cannot come back right away. My bad. Water. Hope everybody drank their water today. I'm gonna be short with this one. The two most important times: drink water first thing in the morning and at night. There's a lot of good things that you're gonna get from water. So please, please, please drink your water. I'm at 10 today, and and I'm in the bathroom to prove it. So I have been off a couple of days now. Yesterday I think I got up to my normal, but before that I was off a couple of days, and not on purpose, just didn't get around to it. So when you get back on, like I always say, tomorrow is another day. In my Vivian Lee, sorry, that was kind of loud. I want to put this phone further back. Like I always say, in my Vivian Lee voice, after all, tomorrow is another day. I know some people be like, who the hell is Vivian Lee? I'm imitating or trying to imitate, not such a good job, not with my voice. But what's her name? Vivian Lee from Gone with the Wind. The girl who plays Scarlett O'Hara. That was what she would say. Tomorrow is another day. And that's good advice. That's a good little credo to live by. You might mess up today, but tomorrow is another day. You can start all over. So make sure y'all drink y'all waters. Plenty of it. Here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we advocate for 100 ounces per day. So really, you can drink like 128 a gallon or whatever, but it's on you. But as I was saying, I'm been checking on Fury and all that stuff, seeing what's going on with him, because apparently fighting Deontay Wilder took a lot out of the man. Took a lot out of him, to the point that he feel like he done with boxing. The boxing of it all, he done. WJ Luckett is in the building. Was popping, King. He says, salute, Queen T. I'm here for it. Glad to see you, King. Tay is in the building. Was popping, King. He said, you saw ring hating on Shakur. Yeah, I was talking about that yesterday, Tay. Was popping with you, though. WJ said, at Tay, yep, shaking my damn head. But I put the link in there, Tay, or WJ, or whoever, if y'all want to get in on it and speak on it. I just said that Bob Arum threw cold water on Shakur. Like he's talking like he don't want Shakur to go for undisputed. Why wouldn't that's just crazy. It's just crazy. So let me get this Fury, but I'm gonna tell y'all later. I'm gonna show y'all later by some of the news that I read why that's just crazy talk, and that's not good advice for Shakur. But Bob, he got that MBF policy. He don't care. He doesn't care. So Fury has given his word to vacate the WBC title next week. After that fight, he emphatically said he wasn't gonna continue. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I really do think that Fury was dubbed, or was the person that they needed to do what it is that they wanted. And sometimes I'll talk about the racist aspects of things. It's there. Sometimes I don't care about it. But that's what he was. The reason why they didn't like Deontay Wilder, I believe a lot of folks didn't like him, is because a racial element. I cannot say that about a racial element for black fighters. And I'm not saying it's an absolute, but a lot of folks in boxing didn't like him. I mean, when you hear them say he need to humble himself, for what? Do Canelo need to humble himself? Do Josh Taylor need to humble himself? I didn't get that. So when I hear shit kind of like that, it just puts me in a realm of racial elements. You know what I'm saying? So But Fury, sorry, I said Theory. But Fury is the one who's saying, I'm done with it. I can't do it no more. And he wants a UFC fight with somebody named Lugana, who's an ex-UFC champion or person who fought in the UFC. He wants an exhibition fight. He want to get that money like he see everybody else get. You know, fighting Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor catapulted himself into a whole nother realm. You know, he got the average whiskey number, whatever, what is it, 12, 13, whatever. He's $100 millionaire. Like he's, I think he was worth like about $300 million now. Conor McGregor, or somewhere close to it. He wasn't before. You know, the UFC and the MMA, they don't get paid like boxers do. And just by fighting Floyd, he surpassed any amount of money that he ever made in the UFC or MMA, whatever one he fight for. Dana White ain't paying them folks like that. So it is a nice payday to come over from UFC and get into the boxing world. The problem is sometimes when they come over there, they're like a fish out of water. So this UFC guy that Tyson Fury wants to fight, it's not going to be lost on me if Tyson Fury beats him. In fact, they want him to beat him. But he would pick one of the biggest dudes, you know, black dudes that he can find, you know, kind of looking like a buck, you know what I'm saying? And it turns out, y'all, that this guy hits harder than anybody in the world. Like, if there's a way to measure the power of a punch, which I know there is out there, he has done it, and he's the hardest hitter. He's considered the hardest hitter. So I'm like, that's why Tyson want to fight him. He can be the hardest hitter all day, but he ain't the best boxer, right? Maceo Golden in the building says, salute, Lady T. Salute to you too, King. What's up, WJ and Tate? I was wondering why Fury picked him. What was the big deal? Just another black man he could chop down. Because this guy, if this guy can't box, Tyson Fury gonna beat his ass. And Tyson Fury gonna look like, you know, he gets kudos for chopping brothers down. He does. He gets kudos for that. And that's why they like this man. That's what they like about him. He is essentially their great white hype. But I knew it was something. I said, why do he want to fight him so bad? But what Tyson Fury wants, he wants to be able to walk in the ring with a current belt on his shoulder. You know, just shining his belt, just, you know, carrying it, bragging about it and all that stuff. He wants that. Because it's good for the optics, is it not? I think so. I think it is good for the optics for him to have a current WBC belt while he's walking in. It's not like the guy he's fighting can't even get the belt because it's already deemed an exhibition. So they're not fighting for any actual achievement. They're fighting to just be fighting. And what is the achievement? A white man that can beat every black man. Y'all don't see that? That's what I'm seeing. But now let's get to the money. So if you're not fighting for a belt because you're retired, then the WBC, being the money grubbing hungry motherfuckers that they are, is like, well, shit, unask the belt. Because you ain't helping them. You ain't putting no coins in their pockets. And it remains to be seen if you're going to be that kind of a draw. I mean, somebody going to buy it. If Tyson Fury was to fight a white man, ain't nobody coming to see that. He ain't the perfect white man they can pick. But he the perfect white man that'll do. He knocking down brothers. And that's all they need. That's his purpose in life. And he gonna make all the money he can satisfying that purpose. I'm not mad at him for going for the money. I'm not even mad at him for saying he want to retire. I don't put much credence in him. He's a cheater. He's a known cheater. Y'all know how I feel about cheaters. But, his career is his career. That's what he want to do. WJ said, what it do, Maceo? I swear to God, you guys, y'all hear these motor vehicles. They way the hell somewhere else. They're not even coming down my street. They're out of my neighborhood. And it sound like they're right here by my window. It's amazing what this mic will pick up and what it don't pick up. But I put out that the WBC, they want him to make up his mind quickly. I put that out a few videos ago. But they claim they will support him either way. Now that's what they gotta say. But they basically like shit or get off the pot. Because, it's laughable for anybody to think that the WBC is a nonprofit. Because, in a nonprofit, you can't be doing stuff and running your organization like you're trying to make a profit. And I swear to God, when you look at the WBC, how do you look at that and say, oh, yeah, they're trying not to make a profit? They do nothing else but try to make a profit, in my opinion. Eddie Hearn is proclaiming that Fury will do this by next week. Then I was like, wait a minute. What do Eddie Hearn got to do with it? Fury don't work for him, right? Fury is under Frank Warren and Bob Arum, right? How would Eddie Hearn know anything that Fury is doing? Why would Fury talk to him? But see, Eddie Hearn got a vested interest in that. He want that rematch with Usyk. But we can't say when Usyk gonna do what he do. And nobody knows if these sanctioning bodies gonna wait for Usyk. I keep saying Usyk for a long period of time. They being nice now because you don't want to come off all chrome mag and just yank the shit from under them. But trust you, believe me, they ain't gonna wait forever. They may wait one whole year. After about a year, they done waiting. I can see that because the WBO is already getting anxious. They already get anxious. Putting pressure on Ugas belt, like to the point that Ugas might have to drop the motherfucker. So these sanctioning bodies ain't gonna wait for Usyk forever. And if they drop it, then what's gonna happen? That puts AJ in a predicament where he actually might have to do some heavy lifting, which he don't want to do. In my opinion, he don't. He got that belt easy, I think. Tay said they just say nonprofit for tax benefits. Yeah, but you can't just say it. You better act the part. Because Uncle Sam will swoop in. Uncle Sam don't like when he get gypped out of his money. Tay said half of these nonprofits not shit. I agree with you, Tay. That's why this Michael Canahan thing was so important and relevant, because he had all these people who had dealings with him, and the United States government came out and said, look at here, in my Maceo voice. Y'all better drop this fella. Y'all better go y'all separate ways. We giving you a pass. Even if you got a contract with him, we ain't gonna let him sue you. You can get right up out that contract, straight up. Look at what MTK had to do. MTK closed up shop because they tired of the affiliation. Just a mere rumor of affiliation made them close up the shop. But I told you there was 3 people who ain't budged. That was Mauricio Suleiman, CEO, president, whatever you want to call it, of the WBC sanctioning body, aka Mr. Cantone himself, Tyson Fury, and Josh Taylor. Them the 3 that didn't budge. But when the government sent the shot across the bow, the warning shot, hey, y'all better get out of Dodge. Because we don't care who we fucked up on our way to getting this dude, because we about to get him. So they're going to cause WBC president, he's going to cause the government to open his books. Because y'all got to think about it. Just think about it like this. When they couldn't get those mafia guys, what they get them on? Stuff like tax evasion, shit like that. When they can't get you or catch you red-handed, they would catch you any kind of way. And the WBC president violates a lot of his 501c rules. He violates a lot of them. He doesn't run his organization like a nonprofit. He really don't. It's not hard to see. He got 1 million damn belts that he want to come up with. Now y'all saw I put the picture of that Emeritus belt. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right. The Emeritus belt. And I was like, what kind of, it's my first time hearing of it. So I'm like, what kind of fucking belt is this? But it's not a new belt, to my surprise. It's not a new belt. And I was like, oh, here we go again. Because it's my first time hearing about it. I went into the, here we go again. Here you go. And so the WBC organization is expected to speak with Fury this week coming up to get a definite answer. See, this is what I mean by applying the pressure. Like, excuse me, Mr. Fury. Mr. Fury, sorry to bother you, but when you gonna unask that belt? And if you're gonna keep it, what's the next fight? Because we always need some income coming in. Because every time you step in the ring, or anybody without belts step in the ring, that's money, 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 money. So if you're retired and you doing stuff like exhibition, go ahead on and unask the belt so we can make some money off that bitch. And I told y'all who their top 4. Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker, and the Sanchez guy. As long as they got Wilder in the mix, they gonna make money. But sometimes I feel like Wilder should be like, fuck you and your belt. Because you ain't cake for me. They cake who they want to, they cake for who they want to cake for. It's not a stretch that he wants to maintain it for the optics of it all. Like I said, Fury, he trying to get this fight. He trying to make it larger than life. It's just an exhibition. But Fury know, even though that dude is considered the hardest puncher actively right now in any kind of combat sport, and he's a big old buck-looking black dude, Fury know he can whip his ass, because if dude can't box a lick, and Fury is the more complete fighter, he's going to beat his ass regardless of how hard he punch. He just hoping and wishing that he moves good enough that the dude can't land a punch. And Tyson Fury moves pretty good for a big guy. He can box for a big guy. If this dude is a typical UFC fighter, he's not gonna move where he's like, he's not gonna have good movement, feet placement. He's gonna fight with his head on the line. He's gonna try to catch Fury, and he's not gonna be able to. He's not gonna understand how to, like, in other words, they gas out, seem like to me, quicker, because they don't understand how to conserve their energy. And maybe they do different exercises that help them maybe just for UFC, but don't really help them in the boxing ring. You got to know how to do your strength and conditioning, your stamina. You got to know how to work on that for boxing, which is probably different from any other sport. Because the average person, and I mean average person, you put them in a boxing stance and you say, man, do this for 3 minutes. I give about 20, 25 seconds. And they can't do it. Not even the hardest part is going to be standing in the proper stance, having your hands up the proper way, holding the phone or whatever they got to do. That's going to be the hardest part, moving where you're always on balance. That's going to be the hardest part. For anybody who ain't really good at boxing, that shit'll have you dripping sweat doing it for 3 minutes and you're not used to it. But if you're trying to do it in an actual fight, I give you about 20, 25 seconds. A C-level fighter can be any big, strong, whoever fighter who don't have that type of boxing training. You can have the baddest mofo in your neighborhood, and they put on them gloves and get in the ring and say, you have to fight like this. You can't fight no other way. Can't be dirty, can't kick, can't scratch, can't choke. You can't do none of that stuff. Guaranteed they get their ass whooped. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Hold up. All right. My bad, y'all. My baby's sick. Girl. We can hear you. Bye. Be safe. But yeah, so Fury know what he's doing. I give him this. He's definitely a master planner. He definitely know what buttons to press to get the money, going. It's like Floyd with the fighting of the Mexicans. Fury know all you gotta do is chop down a big black guy. He gonna make some money. Cause hey, that's what he here for. Remember that that's what I'm here for? That was a song by SWV. My voice is messed up this week. I can hear it. Back in my young days, I would have broke out into a song talking about that's what I'm here for. I done ruined my voice. I can't do nothing with it no more. So he gonna do this exhibition, and like I said, Mr. Cantone want to have a meeting with him this week, and basically butter his bread and be like, yo, you see where I'm coming from. Are you serious about this? But as a parting gift, he's gonna give him the Emeritus belt. Now, some of y'all might not have heard of this Emeritus belt. I certainly haven't heard of it. And I'm thinking, God damn, WBC, how many fucking belts y'all gonna think of? Okay. So, of course, I looked it up before I came on because I was like, what is this shit? So, the Emeritus belt, the WBC has designated WBC lightweight champion Mikey Garcia as Emeritus champion. This designation is an honor that has been granted to a few exceptional elite champions, which allows them to resolve specific situations. The part that jumped out to me is the part that say, which prevents, the word prevent them to actively defend their WBC World Championships. It's almost like going on ahead and retire. And I promise you, head of the line privilege when you come back. Prevent them to actively defend their WBC. It's kind of the same as champion in recess. It's kind of the same as franchise. It's kind of the same. They just call it something different. But basically, when they come back, if they so choose to come back, they can jump right in for the championship belt with whomever who hold it, regardless of what was going on while they was gone. That's what that belt means. Why do I know that? Because Mikey ain't the only one and he ain't the first They gave it to Vitaly Klitschko. You know what I'm saying? They gave it to Vitaly Klitschko. This is just a different belt. The WBC comes out with a different commemorative belt every year, to my knowledge. Look at all these. These are commemorative belts. And because he's headquartered in Mexico, there be some nice looking belts though, real artists or whatever. I like the one Canelo just got from fighting Caleb Plant. Some of these joints tight, but this one right here, this motherfucker right here is bad as hell. I like this one. It's called the TOT Hakun Culture. Hakun Culture. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they basically reaching back and getting things indicative of the times when Mexico, before the era of encounter, before Cortez and them. My phone is loud as hell. Turn it off. That just let me know somebody around my front door. Before Cortez came and did what he did and invaded the area or whatever, you know that Mexico, I don't know if most of y'all might not know, I believe it's Mexico City. It's supposed to be one of the biggest cities in the world, but it was all underwater. Like Mexico, themselves, the whole country, they don't have a lot of waterways. I'm not going to say they have none, but if you read history about them, they act like they really don't have no waterways. They don't really have nothing, but that can't be true because, it's civilization there. You build cities around water and salt deposit areas. But kind of like any other country, they don't have no major waterways and this, that, and that. In fact, their biggest water deposit or biggest waterway was Mexico City. And Cortez, when they came ashore, he was just running through tribes after tribes after tribes. Remember, these were Indians, so the Indian tribes that migrated from what we call Texas today, namely Apache Indians. It could have been other Indians too, but I'm thinking they led the way. And Indians, they were saying, how Indians, we hear about how they or Native Americans, I would say, how they we always heard about them smoking the peace pipe, whatever. I think it was weed. I think it was weed. But maybe they were smoking some weed or whatever. And you get to dreaming or, I ain't gonna say hallucinating, but you dreaming or you seeing things. And one of the folks in the migration had that vision of, it's on the Mexican flag today, of an eagle on a rock in the middle of water, like in the middle of nowhere. Whatever that emblem is on the Mexican flag, that was envisioned when they was making their migration. And that person thought of it, and voila, they came upon it as they making their migration. They said, this is where we're gonna live. The interesting thing about it is there was Mexico, like I said, it's probably Mexico City is supposed to be, from what I understand, the largest city in the whole world. It's supposed to be. Somebody might come back and say, no, actually this city is. But from my understanding, it's supposed to be the largest city and land-wise. So they built a whole city on water. And it is possible. You look at what Dubai doing in that area over there, Mexico Indians or Native Americans did that so many years ago. So many years ago. So many centuries ago. So they had it set up like beautifully. Like it was you like you were in Venice, or like how, like I said, how Dubai and all that stuff is. They had that whole setup, and Cortez saw that and it created a problem for him. Like, how am I gonna get at these niggas? Because they'll see you coming. You gotta float in to them, but just lying and swindling his way in, doing what those Europeans did when they conquered stuff. He was able to do it, and he was able to get away with it. So he swindled in and eventually took over and all that. I mean, y'all can read about the stories of the era of encounter, but it seemed like the WBC, and shout outs to them for this, adhering to the culture is they make belts every year. And these are commemorative belts, some of them, but they're indicative of the culture of what once was. And this one, you can go, you just put this name in, T.O.T. Hakun culture, put it in, and then look it up and just read about their culture. And I mean, I really can't, I don't want to shoot off the cuff. I've read this stuff before, but when I look at this belt, it's indicative of that culture to me. It's a beautiful damn belt. And I think this is the belt that Canelo won by beating what's his name, Caleb Plant. So beautiful belt. But this Emeritus belt sound like a franchise belt. Franchise belt though, you're gonna get because you're still an active player, but it prevents you from having to face mandatories. Like that's what it amounts to us. You don't have to face your mandatory. You do whatever and all that. But this Emeritus belt sound like it's more so for the person who's getting out of boxing or think they're getting out of boxing. That's the problem with retiring. You think you're about to retire. You think you want to retire, but you're hemming and hawing. You're going back and forth. What better way to make you feel better about letting it go than to basically say, don't worry about it. If you decide to come back, we pick up where you left off. And that's what this belt gonna do for you. Other people who've had this belt or was awarded this belt was Vitaly Klitschko. Remember when he had to retire? I think his was more so about an injury, but he decided, hey, I'm going to run for the presidency. And he was awarded the Emeritus belt. Mikey Garcia, for whatever reason, I guess a job well done, they gave it to him. Andre Ward, they gave it to him. But Andre gave it back. Andre was like, you keep this shit. And Tyson Fury and Tony Bello. Of all people, Tony Bello, when he fought David Haye, he was awarded the Emeritus belt. So that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what Mauricio Suleiman is going to cake for Tyson Fury by giving him the Emeritus belt. And I was like, man, they just make up shit. When I first read, I was like, you just make up anything. All because he want to retire. He want to retire because he tired of boxing. Can't take the shit no more. I was like, what kind of mess is this? But Mauricio is an honorable guy, right? Yeah, right. And his dad, Jose, is the first person that came up with that. His dad, I think, died. Talking about Mauricio Suleiman's dad, Jose Suleiman, who started the WBC belt in the first place back in the 60s. I think Sonny Liston was the first recipient of the WBC belt, and Jose designed the belts and all kinds of stuff. But that's when the WBC belt kind of came online. And his dad was a better president than Mauricio, but he I think that's when he came out with these belts. And maybe, just maybe, because I didn't read that Muhammad Ali got the belt, was ever awarded the belt, but it would make sense, wouldn't it? Like if Muhammad Ali got it, because in the 60s, what was Muhammad Ali dealing with? They stripped him of all his belts. They prevented him from fighting. He basically was retired against his will. And so, what better way to give? They could have probably gave him the belt. I didn't read that far, so I don't know. I gotta say right now, I don't know. But it's just weird. Suleiman wants the money, and out of his top four that he ranked in the WBC, the only one that's gonna bring the money is Deontay Wilder. So now, like I said, if I was Deontay, I'd be like, "Oh, now I'm your friend. Now I'm your friend." So that's that's the update with them. We're gonna find out this week or maybe next week sometime. I'm gonna be checking and I'm gonna be updating you guys what's the real deal. But trust you me, they gotta make it so that Tyson can change his mind and come back for a steal. Because left to his own accord, especially if he's not getting his exhibition fights, and just he just can't ride off into the sunset because he almost guaranteed to fuck over all his money. And so what's the only thing he can do? Come back and get that easy money. So why not make him feel like, okay, yeah, you can come back. But think about the people who are gonna be in place at the time Tyson Fury decided to roll his ass back. Think about how they gonna feel. Think about how we gonna look at it like, nigga, you ain't even been here in years and you get straight to line privilege like that. That's how a lot of us gonna see it. But anywho, that's the deal. The Emeritus belt. I done heard it all. Y'all hit that like button when y'all come in. But you know what time it is? It's stripping season. It is stripping season. Should I put on the stripping music? Hold on. Hold on. It's stripping season. It's stripping season, y'all. People getting stripped the belts. Check your tail feathers, Casimiro. It's stripping season. Oh! What, John? Did you just get stripped? I'm just playing with y'all. It's stripping season. WBO strips John Real Casimiro and elevated in his place interim champion Paul Butler. I don't even know who Paul Butler is. Y'all know who Paul Butler is? Casimiro he's now rated number 1. This is the craziest story that I read today. He's a bantamweight. Y'all know how he got, his claim to fame. He so-called beat Rigondeaux, which I don't think he beat him. I think he was gifted that win. But, and I also, a few videos back, maybe last year sometime, talked about the legal trouble he was in for accosting some young underage person. And it was before his fight. And they still let him come over here and do a fight. That shit was all up in the courts and all. I don't know what happened to it. I said I was going to keep up with it, but whoever, they keeping that shit on the hush. But it was some perverted shit that he was doing. But anyway, he's a bantamweight. Why they doing it? And that's the biggest thing, because you guys always ask why. Why? For failure to comply with conditions set forth in this resolution. I don't know what resolution. They hush about that. I don't know if it's his legal stuff, because I told you guys he's a pervert, or he's being alleged pervert. Let me just say that. Trying to mess with people that's underage or half his age. I don't know what resolution they talking about. They didn't name it on purpose. They said everything but what he wasn't complying with. And they demoted him to ranking number 1. He's ranked number 1. And they elevated the interim person, Paul Butler, in his place. And it's not like they're going to make them fight for it. It's a done deal, right? They're not sure. Like I said, it's not sure what he refused to do. He's also subject to criteria that he has to meet as being rated in the first place. All that sounds crazy, right? I'm telling you, I read the whole article, and they purposely just omitted the part of what he didn't comply to, what resolutions he's not, complying with. All they basically saying is he was demoted, somebody else was elevated, and even with his demotion, he still have to meet these criterions. Do anybody in the chat know what the hell going on? Because I certainly don't. I don't know what the fuck going on. Do anybody know? I was like, oh, okay. It must be something serious. Because what didn't he meet? Don't he make weight when he fight? He a big motherfucker too. Because he fight at 118, but he walk around like 140 something. He got a big ass head too. And he worked with Pacquiao team and all that. He on team Pacquiao. Maxwell, Pacquiao, Isaac Cruz, my new favorite fighter. Until I see him, stepping across the line. And I'm watching with a careful eye when it comes to Isaac Cruz, because he's one of my new favorite fighters. But he with a team that I just don't trust. But yeah, we probably won't know. I think they hiding it pretty good. All I can tell you, it gotta be some serious shit, because I don't see what he's not complying with in regards to boxing. This is boxing, right? So you strip a person of their belt for the things they don't comply with boxing, not what they do outside the ring. But it must be something serious. So inquiring minds want to know. I'm gonna be on that shit like white on rice. I'm gonna be looking for that, because I gotta know, what the fuck did this man do? I know he a pervert of some sorts. So make sure y'all hit the like button when y'all come in here. I see you come in and I see the numbers go up and down, So Andre versus Parker, I brought him up yesterday because we know that Andre had pulled out the fight. A lot of people is like, man, what kind of shit is this? Y'all kind of putting the onus on Andre. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. But Andre sustained an injury in camp, y'all. And you have to, to me, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You can do what you want. You know why I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt? Because how many times we hear Andre pulling out the fight for an injury? I mean, they getting older, y'all. It's going to happen. I didn't even get mad at Errol Spence for having his eye injury. Shit happens. I definitely didn't get mad at Keith Thurman for his injuries. Shit happens. So I'm just saying, Andre had a shoulder injury. He sustained it in camp. I don't know how it affects his contract with Eddie Hearn. My understanding that his contract was more predicated on the last fight versus an actual date. And a lot of times these fighters' contracts be like that. They have a roundabout date, but it's more predicated on the last fight. As we know, with Bud Crawford and Sean Porter, that was the last fight that Bob could get out of him. If they didn't meet up that day and they got postponed, his contract would have ended after that fight. Whether it was postponed or moved up earlier, whatever. It's more predicated specifically on the actual fight. And that's what I'm understanding. And I don't know for sure. This is just my guess, because this is my understanding of Eddie's and Andre's fight. They are going their separate ways amicably. Eddie actually is like, I can't do nothing for you. Nobody won't fight you. So the best thing I can do is let you go and try to figure it out yourself. I would say Andre need to go get with Bud and follow the direction of Bud and Jake Paul or Logan Paul, whichever one of them who just made that deal with Intro Box or something. So Andre need to do that, because PBC ain't gonna do right by you. They just not. And Eddie was your best bet. Now don't y'all feel sorry for Andre, because Eddie paid him well. That's why I say one thing I say about Eddie. He gonna pay you what he say he gonna pay you. He gonna pay you on time, and he pays you well. Andre is a millionaire, although y'all can't tell because he don't do the typical fighters bullshit. He ain't buying all the chains and the fat ass cars of Bugattis and shit. But the dude is worth some millions, a lot. So he's good. And how Danny Jacobs said, I'm touching M's. But he'll be back. I was gonna look up what was his network, but I was like, I don't know. Let me move on. Tank and Rolly, their undercard is pay-per-view May 28th at the Barclays, New York City. That's a good place for it. New Yorkers can hold it down. Because Tank, whoever following around him, they're gonna be rowdy. But the undercard, I'm just telling you guys what the undercard is. Lara versus O'Sullivan. That's going to be for the WBA middleweight championship. Jesus Ramos versus Luke Santa Maria. Not the Nina, not the Pinta, but the Santa Maria. And Eduardo Ramirez versus Luis Melendez. I think they the nephews of some famous fighters. But that's the undercard. That's the pay-per-view card. I don't know if that moves the needle for you. We shall see. I don't know how I'm gonna look at that Tank fight, but I don't pay for PBC fights no more. I just don't do it. So hopefully that may inspire some folks or whatever. Castano says that the Charlos are problem children. So the mud is gonna start slinging because that fight coming up soon. He said they some problem children. They bad behaving children. Bad behaving children out there. They be feeling a certain way, but they never seem to attribute their behavior to why people avoid them. But that's kind of like what I'm getting the vibe of Castano saying, like Charlos are to be avoided. Like you don't want to deal with them because you can't discipline, you can't do shit with them, so you avoid them. But they are terrible behaviors. They have like behavior problems. In other words, other news. Evan Holyfield, he's coming back too. He was new to the scene, kind of like Nico Walsh. I was at the fight when Shakur did in October. He was on one of the undercards. I felt a little funny. Even DJ came in here. We felt a little funny with his fight. Even Holyfield, his dad, looked a little shocked because the guy that he was fighting, I wouldn't say he was the greatest fighter. I maybe give him a C plus, maybe a B minus as a fighter. But he was piecing up young Evan. And I don't think Evan could have contended with him. And then just out of the blue, it's like the guy stopped fighting for whatever reason. And Evan knocked him out. That fight was hella weird. Hella weird. But he trains with Mike Stafford now and Burt Wells. So he up there with the Bronin team and all that. They're going to have a fight streaming on Fight TV. And by the way, Triller is bringing Monday night fights back to, I don't know if they're bringing it back from the past or whatever, but that's how it was read. That's how it was read or wrote in the article that they bringing back Monday night fights. But I think it's going to be streamed on Fight TV and all that. And they training out of Colorado. So that should be interesting. Caps and Full G. Hey, lady. Hey, Lady T. What's good, Caps? I be watching your shit. I'm gonna put the link in here if you want to come in and take the floor and break down some stuff because you broke down some stuff the other day. And I was like, okay, shit. You got me doing research, looking and shit. But when you was breaking down what actually happens in the chain of receipts, I was waiting to see you. I was like, I want you to come through and break that down to my audience because you guys, this is important. This is going to help you guys make decisions and figure out stuff and maybe avoid arguments or whatever. It's going to give you a lot of understanding because shit, every time I'm looking at what you're saying, I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? I even tried to say something yesterday about letterhead, and people, it might have went over their head and they probably was like, oh man, who cares about letterhead? We all should care about letterheads. because letterhead is given out administratively, not legally. Let me just say that again. Letterheads are given out administratively, not legally. Can legal paperwork have letterhead on it? Yes. But they will send it to the person's administrative office and give it out. So for a legal person to put out something with their letterhead, basically, welcoming some as simple as welcome to the clean boxing program. First of all, that's again something administratively, not legally. And then you got to look at the past tense words that people are using. I've been in the program. Well, guess what? If you listen to Captain G4, you will find out that there's a range. There's a range in that date. For there to be a number two, that for there to be a number one and number two, you can't just put, like, you can't say number one such and such and just leave it right there. You have to say number two. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, in other words, when you put out things, you can't half-ass put it out. If you don't have the different if you can't go 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, then you gotta not. I know that's getting over some people's head. I gotta find a better way to say it. And I'm thinking, y'all. But basically, he's breaking down the range. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, how do I say this? So if you listen carefully, these are telltale signs for me. So such and such is in the clean boxing program to April umpty squat. Let's say April 16th. That was the day of their fight. Okay, you gave me an end date, but where's the beginning date? Do y'all get what I'm saying? You can't have an end date and not have a beginning date. It doesn't work like that, y'all. When you talk about legal processes and just common way of writing, efficient writing, you can't have an end date but don't have a beginning date. So you can't talk in past tense and act like that's present and future tense. I've been in the program. Been is past tense. Of course you've been in the program. We know that. We can go back years and show where you really, really was in the program. But I was looking at the boy, y'all always talk about Fanon. So this person, probably really the only time I'm gonna mention somebody's name and talk about what they did on their channel. But I actually looked at him when he was justifying his reasoning. Said when he was basically saying, so Miss Me with all Errol Spence ain't in the program and da 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 da, or whoever ain't in the program. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was reading off these letters. And then he said, I found another letter, but he never showed the letters. I believe he got them because they're out there. But he never showed the letters. And he said, here's another letter. And basically, it was the same thing, but he was trying to prove that Errol Spence was in the program even before he was due to fight Pacquiao. Again, he was talking in past tense. And Fanon is a lawyer, so he knows better. You could be in the program all day long, but if you're not complying with it, then it don't mean nothing. If, as Captain G Fool say, if they're only willing to pay for post-test, then it don't mean shit. And when you're in the program, your time starts when they announce the fight. So if your fight is 2 weeks after you announce it, it don't mean shit. There's a lot of ways that you can see the picture is painted like I'm complying, I'm doing all this stuff and I'm testing and I'm this, that, and the other. That's the picture they paint. But they're telling, like he said, half truths. Captain G, come on in and break that down for them. better than I did just did. But again, when I said it can't be a number 2 if it wasn't a number 1, can't be a 1 and then don't have 2. You can't stop there. So therefore, you can't have an end date, but you don't have a beginning date. And with the WBC VADA program or clean boxing program, there is a range that they use starting from this date to this date. That's when y'all in it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that's missing too. It makes you say, that's all. I'm at my son's jiu-jitsu class. Okay. Damn, I wish I could come on. I'm listening. A person can cycle off and they won't pop during the pulse test. Yep. And it said it's imperative that we have testing before. Exactly. That's what Capsule's saying. What we cooking on. But that's what I was just reiterating what Caps is saying. You guys make sure you go sub and just listen. Just listen. But because it's going to make you say, It's really going to make you say, And see, those are the nuggets that I catch when I'm listening. I catch the past tense. I catch if you don't try to show nothing. And I catch the fact that I know for a fact that letterhead is administratively given out. That ain't something to tell somebody, welcome to the program. You don't need letterhead. So if that letter, I didn't put it up because it was, I told you I was looked like more like a personal letter. And I ain't doing personal letters. I'm doing what they say they're going to put out. Hey, WBC said, they Ugas and Earl had a range. And I think their range ended April 16th. So, or maybe a week after that. But I know that Ugas made the list because that's what the WBC do when they get the results or whatever. Earl wasn't on the list. And there's no real confirmation. To me, it's like smoke and mirrors. I'm not accusing Errol Spence of anything. I'm stating what I see. Just like Caps be stating what he see. Now, I'll let you guys be, I'll let you formulate your own opinion. But I know what I'm talking about when I'm saying these letterheads. And I know what I'm talking about when I'm saying you can't have a beginning and not have an end. But if it was all year round, then you wouldn't speak on it. You just wouldn't even bring it up because it's all year round. It's indefinite. It's all year round. But you can't talk about an end without talking about a beginning. And the fact that you won't talk about a beginning tells me a lot. Damn it, somebody at my door. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. I hope y'all still here when I get back. Somebody at my door. Hold on. And I'm the only one here. Hold on. Hold up. There's somebody at my door. I'll be back. Y'all rock out. I'm back. Thank y'all for holding it down. Hold on. Man, the weather must be getting good because you can put plain as day, no soliciting on your front door, and motherfuckers still solicit and be adamant about it. Like, I was like, damn, the weather make you like that? But y'all know I couldn't go down there empty-handed. I'm the only one in the house right now. So I had my homegirl with me. I had to get her out the safe. She ready. She ready. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. But I think where I left off was talking about you can't have an end date without a beginning date. And the fact that you won't mention the beginning date, tells me things. So shout outs to Caps for pointing these things out. Y'all watch him and y'all gonna pick up some stuff. It makes you say, for real. Tay, I think I read this before. You said it's imperative that we have testing before the fight. Yeah, and that's a good statement right there, Tay, because it is. It's imperative because you're gonna know, the real. So, moving on. So, some Welsh guy named Joe Cardina, I don't mean that disrespectfully, is challenging Kenichi Agawa for his IBF super featherweight title. Remember, we talked about this yesterday when we was talking about the NBF policy back in effect with Bob Arum, because Bob is telling you, don't nobody care about no undisputed. Don't nobody care about them belts. Y'all just look at Canelo and tell me, is that true or not? Tell me if that's true or not. That don't nobody care about undisputed and don't nobody care about no belt. Yes, people do. I don't know who Joe Cardina is or Cardina. I barely know who Agawa is. But that fight is going to be at Motor Point Arena in Cardiff. I'm thinking that's in the UK somewhere. On Saturday, June 4th on the Zone. Okay, it's somebody care enough about it to put it on the Tizu. And that could, as I see it, that could have been Shakur belt. Who is Joe Cardina? If we barely know Agawa, I mean, you would think that business-wise, Bob would jump at the chance, because guess what? You can get them for cheap. If they don't have no big fan base, nobody knows them, they're so-called boring, then that means you ain't got to pay hardly anything to get them into a fight. You can go with your minimum. You can put up, like 500,000, Bob, and the fight will be on. And Shakur Stevens will have one more belt added to his collection. But see, that's why I say I listen with the third ear. When people will try to tell you it's not about a black and white thing, it is, because they only do this to black fighters. It's like they can show you anything if you black. You'll jump on it. They can say what you want, the percentage or the straight, the flat fee. And all you gotta do is say, I'm gonna give you $150,000 right now, right here today, or I can give you 3% of what that whole card is gonna be worth. And they just hoping and praying, because in their minds, the nigga gonna always say, give me that 150 right now. Put that money in my hand right now. But the smarter play would be like, give me the percentage. They're banking on dudes, black people, to be typical black people or whatever they think typical black people would be. Everybody else care about belts, hardware, collecting, unified champion, undisputed. Everybody cares about all that but black folks, right? And casual fans, as if you're going to cater your whole career to what casual fans think. Like, I'm going to really put a lot of emphasis into what some fly-by-night person, somebody here today, gone tomorrow, think. And I'm going to base my whole career based on what they think. They don't even know boxing. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. We don't even know if they're going to be a fan forever. But I'm going to, base everything I've ever wanted into what they think. And that's the fate of black fighters, because they listen to people like Bob Arum. That's basically what he trying to convince Shakur Stevens. I know you don't need no stinky, undisputed. It's 130 is a wash. It's a trash ass division. But in the same breath, you don't hear him telling his other fighter, Oscar Valdez, you need to move up because 130 is a trash division. And I guarantee you, if Shakur listens to him and drop the belts and move up without trying to secure that or wipe it out completely, I guarantee you Oscar Valdez will come back behind him like the cleanup man and pick up all that scrap. I guarantee you Bob won't be saying that shit then. Y'all listen with them third ears if you got them. He said, I got one more video on CBP and VADA, and it will show more detail and less talking from me. I hear you, King. I'm picking up. I'm smelling what you're cooking now. But yeah, y'all, that fight coming up. And I don't know. This guy's from, like I said, Welsh. You might as well say the UK. I don't know if Shakur could get at him after that. And the last thing we're going to talk about, because it's not much news. So Canelo has put out, I was reading, and sometimes you run across some things. I read that Canelo was putting out that he has about 6 or 7 fights left. That was news to me. And look, as much as I don't like him because he's a cheater, I can't say I don't like what he's trying to do. Do I believe he's racist? Yeah, to a certain extent. But I don't think his racism is prevalent in his life. I think he's proud to be a Mexican, and ain't nothing wrong with that. I think he loves his people. He loves his country. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I have no problems. In fact, it's a beautiful thing, Canelo, But I think he is. I think he has some kind of superiority complex. You know what I mean? I think he really do see himself as the ultimate white man. Because that's how I think some Mexicans, not all, think of themselves like they're the ultimate white man. They swear they white, but they're better than white men. So that's why I, couch it like that. The ultimate white man. But he has put out that he got about 6 or 7 more fights left in him. So who gonna get them sweepstakes? That's the question. He didn't say it. Y'all can't act like he ain't said it now. Now, right now, he's gonna fight Bivol. And then after that, I don't know who he's going to fight, but he has said he want to be undisputed at 175. So that means if y'all look and see what's going on, you got Beterbiev and Joe Smith lining it up to fight for all the marbles. And that's going to be 3 belts held right there. Joe Smith had already put out he has no interest in fighting Canelo. He ain't trying to hear the shit he got to talk about. But if Beterbiev get that belt off you, Joe Smith, Canelo don't have to go after you. Y'all just watch how these stars line up so perfect. Even some people who know Canelo say he's doing it for legacy and history. I told y'all, it's about the picture they're going to paint after the fact. Because let me tell you something. There has never been a man that I know yet in boxing who has had, and I could be wrong. Let me back it up because Miss T could get her information wrong. But to my knowledge, right now, there is no male that has had undisputed at the same time. Don't you think the person who does that is going to be I mean, what can you say? But before Canelo gets his paintings in a bunch, realize, Canelo, you will not be the first person who do that. And a woman beat you to the punch. And a black woman at that. See, we keep coming through, nagging them, in a sense, nagging some of these Mexican fighters, because they don't want black people to be great. They just don't. I see it like that, you guys, and it's not an absolute. It's not every Mexican in the world, but for those who carry themselves like that, yeah, I see that. I mean, they want their countrymen or their people to be the ones that's great. They want you to talk about them before you talk about the Muhammad Ali's and Jack Johnsons and all these people, because the people who got the most notoriety have always been black in boxing. That is what it is. I'm just stating facts. I ain't saying it has to be like that, but I'm just stating facts. I did a video one time talking about just in the 20th century alone, how many years out of the 20th century did black fighters hold titles? And 77 years versus the other 30 something that was held by a variety of folks, whites, Mexicans, Indians, other Latinos, Japanese, whatever. The lot. But 77 years. And I was like, wow. Now, they don't want that. Canelo and them, they don't want that. They rather you said that about them. But he would not be the first. Even if Terrence was able to do it, Terrence, you're not the first. That would be our girl Clarissa Shields. And then she did you one better. She had the undisputed in 2 different weight divisions and unification in another, all at the same time. But Canelo, I'm telling you, he's going for that legacy. I ain't mad at him, though, because that's what you're supposed to do. Of course, people going to follow you when you do that. Even his little racism doesn't even bother me that much. But his racism is more on he's superior type shit, So before you retire, chop, chop. That's what he's trying to do. He truly took a page from Floyd's book. I gotta say, he truly took a page from Floyd's book, and he damn near, it's like a mirror. It's like he's doing it, but he putting his stank on it. He's doing what Floyd did, but putting his stank on it. He understood the assignment. That's the difference with Canelo and a lot of people. And I swear sometimes I feel like I'm bragging about the nigga. And I don't like him. Because I told you, he wants to cheat. I can't get with you. But I can't shit on you just to be shitting on you because I don't like you neither. I won't do that. I ain't mad at him. He's proud of his country. He's proud to be a Mexican. He's doing it for legacy. He's doing it for the picture y'all got to paint of this dude in the future. All of that. And like I said, you call him what you want. You're going to call him champion. That's what you're going to call him. So he's making the right moves. And if for all the fighters out there, black, white, yellow, purple, anybody who come up to you and tell you, never mind undisputed, it don't mean shit or unification, y'all don't believe that shit. If they told a white fighter, I would tell them, don't believe that. Do not sign off on that shit. That person is trying to do you a disservice. Because when you go for those accolades and those achievements, the money will follow. The leverage will follow. The benefits of the doubt will follow. You will be heard and your words will not be falling on deaf ears. A lot of good stuff, perks and privileges. Bells and whistles come with it too. You don't have to work as hard to get certain things you want lined up. If you're doing it for popularity, you can be popular today and not popular tomorrow. We had a saying in the military, you can go from sugar to shit in a minute or overnight. Damn, I was like, did y'all hear that crowd? I hope there ain't nobody ringing my door again. But anyway, let me check the cameras. Because if the motherfucker at the door again, you know, I don't know. But in the end of the day, I ain't mad at him. He's fighting this weekend. He's following the May, what they call it, the May print, the money May print. Cinco de Mayo day today. This weekend is Cinco de Mayo weekend. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all our Mexican brethren. Um, and I hope you guys have a good weekend and barbecue and be safe and all that good stuff. The fight is this weekend. It's going to be a good fight, I believe. I don't know if y'all watched the press conference. Bivol is making a believer out of me. The way he stared at Canelo, like he about to put some on dude. He about to put some. We might not even be talking about Canelo next week. He might be yesterday news because Bivol looked like he gonna give it to him. But Bivol, you're gonna have to have what they call it. You're gonna have to have the stamina and everything to make it through. Canelo ain't gonna quit. He got will. And speaking of Canelo, and people who got will, Earl Spence, they put out that they had offered Canelo a chance with Earl Spence or whatever. I'm telling you guys, Canelo would beat the fuck out of Earl Spence. Canelo don't have no good leg movement and feet placement, and neither do Earl. But waist up, the motherfucker a beast. And I don't like Canelo. I actually like Earl, but I don't like Canelo. And I think he'll beat the shit out of Earl Spence. That fight ain't gonna happen, but people talking about it. And so I'm just saying, I know that. It wouldn't shock me if any of them, if they had an opportunity to get in with Canelo, they're gonna take it. It's not like Earl can't make the weight or whatever, but Canelo was already like, this is Canelo coming back out. He said, "Oh, you're gonna have to make 168. I'm not coming down to no weight you choose. You guys, in the same breath that y'all can say that Earl is the heavy lifter, the big fish, y'all gotta recognize Canelo is that to him. To Earl Spence, from Canelo point of view, Canelo is the big fish. Earl Spence is a guppy. He wish." And they don't pay him nothing. And I've heard throughout the YouTube too, YouTube also, as people say, "Oh, Earl got about 5 for Ugas." How we know that? But I can tell you what he guaranteed he got 1.5. And been the one person, amongst many, probably who advocated, like, I don't understand why PBC don't pay this man 10 million and up guarantee. I couldn't tell you, but they don't. They guarantee his ass $1.5 million. That ain't shit. That ain't shit. But if you fight Canelo, you're gonna get 10 or more. That'll be your highest payday. So who the fuck wouldn't want to fight Canelo? So I ain't mad at Earl for saying he want to fight him, but I will hold him accountable. Stick to your motherfucking plan, dude. Stick to your plan. Your plan was not Canelo. Stick to your plan. And you're pipe dreaming because Canelo will beat the shit out you. He will demolish you. And all your fans know it. All your fans know it. They just don't want to say it. And just like people can look at Earl and say, "Oh, he does this great, and he gonna be able to do this and do that to Terrence Crawford," and now they think he can do something to Canelo. Come on now. For me, I can only say I don't see where they see it. I look at the man fight. He's an awesome fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's an excellent fighter. Don't get me wrong. The dude he does the same shit. He just come forward. He doesn't do a lot. Now what he does have, what he does do, if that's a proper way to say it, I don't think so. But what he does, he's effective. He's effective. But when you get in there with somebody who's more of a complete fighter, and I'm gonna keep saying this until they fight. You want to see a prototype of it? Look at Oscar Valdez and look at Shakur Stevens. Oscar could not get around the more complete fighter. He just couldn't. Y'all say Earl hits hard, Terrence do too. You'll say Earl, who is Terrence fought? Well, who is Earl fought? The only undefeated person I could think of that he fought was Mikey Garcia, somebody who moved up 2 weight classes. Terrence have a lot of them, a lot of people he fought in his career who were undefeated, and then were undefeated champions or undefeated former champions. They talk about his amateur career. They'll talk about the fact he was Olympian. Well, wasn't Felix Diaz a gold medal winner twice? I think he won it twice, but he was a gold medal winner. Was it Gamboa the same? That's all y'all saying is that Earl was an Olympian. He didn't get a medal. But I'm one to forego what you did in the amateurs and the Olympics and stuff like that because um, really it's not neither here or there. If y'all know what I mean. It wouldn't take away from Earl's progress and what he can do as a professional. And it wouldn't add or take away. I'm gonna say it like that. For me, I'm looking at him as a professional. I mean, I wouldn't want him to come in the professional rankings and fight like he did as an amateur because I don't think that helps him in the professional realm. But it wouldn't matter to me. He could have lost. Errol Spence could have lost every fight in the amateur. I wouldn't care. I would look at what he's doing as a professional. But I would say, for me, I don't get, putting down the person's opponents and make a comparison because there's really no comparison. It really ain't. It really ain't. I know they want it to be, but it's really not. Not to me. There's really no comparisons. He was an Olympian, but he didn't medal. I don't know shit about his Olympic career, but he didn't medal. But I'm going to give him credence for being an Olympian, but I can't give Felix Diaz the same credence or put him up there. I got to say he's a tomato can. Why? Because he fought Crawford. I can't give Gamboa the same credence. I got to say he won't nothing. Why? Because he fought Terrence Crawford. But all three, Gamboa, Diaz, and Earl are Olympians. It's just two of them gold medal, and one didn't. But they're Olympians. But only one out of the three is somebody. And the other two ain't shit. Y'all gotta make that make sense now. And that's what I be left with, like, huh? What? That's what I be thinking, like, how you come up with that? Y'all gotta make that make sense. But I just brought it up because I think we're reverting back to that. I hope we don't. Everybody that they fought were good opponents. If you step into that square circle, you're a good opponent, and you deserve respect. The only difference between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence right now in the welterweight is the fact that Errol does have the 3 belts. That's a big difference. But as far as who they fought, Danny Garcia, but Danny don't want to fight Terrence Crawford. He just doesn't want to. That you can't hold that against Terrence. All we can do is take the fighters that they did fight and compare the ass whooping that they did give. Both gave ass whoopings. One did it better. We're going to say age. They're all close in age. They're all close in age. We're going to say if you're trying to age out Crawford, then why? I don't know. He didn't take much damage in his professional career. He hasn't been taking much damage. It's about how you treat your body outside the ring too. It's what can age you. Alcohol ages you. Weed, all that bullshit, drugs, all that shit age you. You know what I'm saying? Injuries age you. So we don't need to be talking about somebody's age or Because even Sean Porter, Kevin, all them about around the same age. It's not enough to talk about a disparity difference. It's not enough. But I was picking up, I'm just looking. I just felt like I wanted to talk about some things I've been hearing. Hit the like button. I ain't mad at nobody for their opinion. Don't be mad at me for mine. If you are, I don't give a fuck either way. But some shit that just don't make sense. We can be rational and logical about any and everything, but some shit it just don't make sense. You cannot, with a straight face, in my opinion, just my opinion. I ain't mad at nobody else's. Say that Earl Spence has more tools in the bag than Terrence Crawford or fight like he do. He never have. He never had to. Maybe you could say he never had to. I can't argue that point. Maybe you will say that he never had to. We just never seen it. We just never seen it. And Earl Spence, contrary to what a lot of his fans may believe, as well as Terrence Crawford, as well as all of them, they don't got much time left in boxing. Once you hit in your 30s, you're really on the decline. You don't got much time. Because ain't nobody going to be Father Time. But anywho, that's all I got for today. Thank you for listening. Capsule Full, keep doing those videos. I'm listening, bro. I'm picking up stuff. I don't know what it's going to mean overall for the fight, but just, keep doing it. Maybe somebody would take it seriously and take it for whatever. Did I look up the WBC list again? Yes, I have. Have I seen Errol Spence's name? No, I haven't. I haven't seen his name on it. Does it mean, what does that mean? It means his name is not on it when everybody else's name be on it. So I don't know. According to Caps, if you're just a person like a Nonito Donaire who wants to do VADA testing on their own, that's a more legitimate way to do it. Clean Boxing Program leaves loopholes, but they paint the picture like it's airtight, and it's not. So that's what I'm picking up, Caps. I don't know if that's the meaning that you was trying to have, but that's what I'm picking up. It's not as thorough as it should be. Listen for past tense words. They'll tell you everything. I've been. Been is past tense. Remember to be a part of the Clean Boxing Program. That don't start until they announce the fight, one. And two, is not as thorough because it's a range. It's not all year. The range should be when they're in camp. Hell, it should be. I personally think it should be all year. But the range definitely got to be when they're in camp all the way past their fight, like a week or so past their fight. But if somebody is quick to tell you when their end date, you got to raise your eyebrow and be like, well, why are you not telling me the beginning date? So we can know the range. You feel me? So I'm just saying, y'all got to listen with a third ear sometimes. So y'all can be like, because WBC does not want to pay. They don't want to pay for the drug tests that'll be going on before the fight, like in the camp. They don't want to do that. And at best they'll do a urine, but that's probably about the cheapest to do. There's been suggestion on how to make it more marketable and fall within a decent budget of the WBC versus how they doing it now. Again, they have not put out the list with Earl Spence's name on it, and I don't know why. And I don't know if Earl cares or anybody in his camp cares, but I think y'all need to bust Mauricio Suleiman across the head and be like, stop adding fuel to the fire and making me look bad. I can only say what I don't see. I'm not telling you what it is. I'm just telling you what I don't see. So, and I look, and I be looking. But anywho, when you know better, you do better, right? Thank y'all for watching. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. I will be having a contest for a 55-inch TV. I need 1,200 subscribers, though, before I do it. And you got to subscribe to claim the prize. If you don't subscribe, you won't be able to do that. So that's coming down the pipe. Y'all give me up to 1,200 subscribers, and I'm giving away a free 55-inch color TV, and I'll mail it to anywhere in the 48. I'm not doing Alaska, Hawaii, and U.S. territories. Y'all know y'all ain't about to break me like that. It's going to cost me a pretty penny to mail it anywhere in the 48. But hey, if you win it, it's yours. I got it in the house right now. But anyway, when you know better, you do better. Peace.